Namo tassa bhagavata arahato samma My dear Dhamma children, Dhamma brothers and sisters, we have all assembled here on this sacred land to express our feelings of gratitude, our devotion to my Dhamma father, Sayaji U Ba Khin. I was so close to him, so I knew, I understood what a great Dhamma inspiration he had, that now the time has ripened, the clock of Vipassana struck, the Dhamma has to spread around the world. It will spread around the world. Many of you have come from far off places, from different countries, from about 30 countries of the world, and you are fortunate that you have come on this Dhamma land, which has preserved, maintained the Dhamma in its pristine purity for us. It is a real pilgrimage to the sacred land.
In January 2000, hundreds of Vipassana meditators from all over the world joined their teacher S.N. Goenka and his family on a journey to the Dhamma land of Myanmar. On this special occasion, marking the 100th anniversary of the birth of his teacher, Sayaji U Ba Khin, Goenkaji wanted to show the people of Myanmar the great impact Sayaji's teaching has had in other countries. He also wanted Vipassana students to come and discover a land that has kept the torch of Dhamma bright through the millennia. The centenary celebrations started with a Vipassana seminar at Dhamma-Jyoti, the center built by Goenkaji's students in central Yangon.
First of all, we express our feelings of deep gratitude, deep devotion towards Gautama, the Samma Sambuddha. He had the liberation in his hand. It was there, and yet he sacrificed it. I am not interested in my own liberation alone. I want to become a Samma Sambuddha so that I can serve countless beings and help them to come out of their misery, get liberated. All the pains that he took to reach that stage, everyone feels that he actually worked for me. If he had not worked so much, how could I have got Dhamma? How could I have got the path of liberation?
A few hundred years after the Buddha had passed away, His teaching disappeared from India, where he had lived and taught. But the Ganges of Dhamma kept on flowing in the neighboring country of Myanmar.
All these saintly people, the teachers, who maintained Dhamma in its pristine purity, from generation to generation, from teacher to pupil, we feel so grateful to them, and we express our feeling of devotion towards them. On behalf of all my students, I pay deep respect to the Sangha. Their blessing is so valuable for me.
The Dhamma seminar began in Dhammajyoti with an offering of Sanghadana to 100 senior scholar monks. As is traditional in Myanmar, the monks were first offered a meal. After the lunch, each monk was respectfully offered a package containing Sangha requisites. This was a unique opportunity for meditators to earn merits, especially those who had come from overseas and have never had the chance to experience this custom. Every morning, all over Myanmar, monks set out on their alms round. They go out for the welfare of householders. By giving dana to fulfill the monk's requirement of food, the householders gain merits. In the Goenka family house in Yangon, the noble tradition of giving alms is maintained, as it is in any other house in Myanmar.
We are grateful to those two brothers, Tapasya and Bhallika, who were the first two lay persons to meet the Buddha and offer him honey and rice cakes. The rice of this land, honey of this land, was offered as the first food to the enlightened one. It was a great meritorious deed. Those merits go not only to these two brothers, those merits go to the entire country. And then these two brothers, they got the hair relics of the enlightened one. And those hair relics were brought to this country. The country became all the more sacred with those hair relics which are enshrined in this historical stupa Shwedagon. The vibrations of this wonderful Shwedagon with the relics of the hair of the enlightened one is not only helping this country, but is helping the entire mankind. People come and pay respect here, they get benefit of these vibrations, and they keep on walking on the path of Dhamma to get liberated. Of course, those people who go there, pay respects by offering flowers, etc., they get all the merits because of their devotion. But those who go and meditate there, limitless merits, limitless benefits they get by it. Now, hundreds of you who have come for the pilgrimage to this sacred land will be meditating on the platform of Shwedagon, and you will realize what a wonderful sacred place it is.
Early morning, a large number of Vipassana meditators gathered for a special group sitting held in the open at the Shwedagon Pagoda. Visiting and meditating at the Shwedagon Pagoda was such an inspiring event that Goenkaji and the pilgrims have made it a daily routine during their stay in Yangon. On each visit, Goenkaji circled the Shwedagon Pagoda giving metta, accompanied by his wife, sons, family members, and hundreds of his students.
And then, again we remember the great Emperor Ashoka, when he sent Dhammaduta to different countries. 2 Dhammaduta were sent to this sacred land, Sona and Uttara, and that was the time when the Dhamma in its pristine purity got strongly established in this part of the world. We express our feeling of gratitude, great gratitude, deep gratitude towards these 2 Arhants who did wonderful job to get the Dhamma established in this part of the world, both Pariyatti as well as Patipatti. Remain alert, remain attentive from moment to moment, aware of respiration when you are practicing Anapana, and aware of sensations when you are practicing Vipassana. Sensation of this type or that type, every sensation has the same characteristic, the characteristic of arising, passing away, uday, vyay, uday, vyay. Keep on realizing this reality at the experiential level and keep on developing your wisdom, your equanimity.
Caring for such a large number of meditators who came on this pilgrimage to Myanmar was not an easy task. At the Goenka household in Yangon, Goenkaji's sons, together with the son of Sayagyi U Ba Khin, were working almost around the clock, organizing the complex logistics of the tour up north. A major help came from the Venerable Bhikkhu Ashinya Nisara, who offered to host the pilgrims in his monastery in the Sagai Hills near Mandalay. From there, they would set out to visit the sacred places nearby.
People, when they come from outside, they want to see things specially connected with Vipassana. So they would go to Lady Seattle place, and now, as you say, it has developed so much, they'll be very happy.
50 morning, all of meditators will come to Sagai. They're going to sit together in the same one place.
1 hour sitting there, meditation, very good. They will get good vibration of Sagai.
This time, do not miss it to see the birthplace of the Lady Seattle.
How far from Moyua?
Moyua to this village, 35 miles.
35 miles to birthplace, then you said 35 miles for his meditation place. Certainly, if it can be covered in one day, I go from Manly and cover those things and come back.
Yeah.
Manly, because a center has come up there, Vamo Seattle's place, center has come.
Yeah.
So wherever a new center comes, it becomes my duty to stay there and generate vibration. Of course, the program is too hectic. I understand, but...
Okay. Please open.
And then, 800 years ago, one name comes up before us, Arhant Dhammadasi, Singh Arhant. And being an Arhant, he could see that the northern part of the country, Dhamma is deteriorated. There is no pure Dhamma there. So he decided to go to that part of the country, establish Dhamma there, both Pariyatti and Patipatti. Then it is said he went further north and settled down in the Sagai hill. Not only Singh Arhant meditated there for the whole life, but he kept on teaching this Dhamma, the Patipatti Dhamma. Therefore, Sagai is also a very sacred place of Dhamma. After that, from generation to generation, from teacher to pupil, that was the center which maintained Dhamma in its pristine purity.